Right, so the first thing that we're going to try and fix is the cooling fan on the radiator. It's got an additional one on the front. We're going to try and see where that's wired up to and make that one work, because I'm guessing that's been added because the original fan isn't actually working. I can also have a look at the original fan because I think it's a 1-pin plug, which I kind of roughly know where it is after having a quick Google. And I'll have a check of that, but multimeter, and hopefully there's enough wiring connected to this fan because I haven't actually got any. Let's try and make it work anyway. It's mad that it's on big old springs when my Evo still got a bonnet catch, still got a bonnet thing. Right, okay, so as we can see here, this is the additional fan that's been wired in. Not quite sure where that goes to, so looking for a black and blue wire which will head that direction. So we're going to have a look at that, but down here there, that's the original fan there, and it does spin, and it works off like a magnetic clutch inside of there, which is controlled by, I believe it's this 1-pin plug here. So, well, there is a fantastic piece of wiring that I'm hoping has come off that fan there. So that there links all the way around to that earth over there. So that's fantastic. And this other one, if you look down there, it's looped back on itself. It's heading that direction. So this is this other wire. Right, okay. So that's wired into that fuse there. They both look alright. Don't know why they've done it to a fuse, but they have. No relay, just to a fuse. And then it seems to be teed into this white wire here. I have no idea what that does or where that goes to. So, right, so what they've done here is they've got this single wire here which comes from the fan. They've then wired it to 2 wires for some reason there, which were then wired into 2 fuses. So each side goes to each fuse. So you've got 2 fuses for the same thing, and then 2 wires back out which will join to that wire. Why did you not just wire it to 1 fuse? You don't need 2 fuses. You don't need 2 30-amp fuses. Is that because it was blowing them? I don't get what that's about. 1 fuse would have been fine. So we need to test that this fan's working. That one down there. So I'm going to strip this off, and then I'm going to put that straight to the battery. It should fire up. If it doesn't, we'll then take the earth wire off over there, and we'll put that to the battery and then see if it works. And if the fan then works, we're good. We just need to find ignition live and a better earth point, which is that down there. Looks a lot better, to be honest, anyway. I mean, even all these just need taken off, sanded down and cleaned up and put back on again. They should be a lot better. But yeah, let's test this fan first. I mean, this wire itself, look at the core of that. It's proper corroded and brittle. It's like proper corroded all the way through the wire, so that's not going to work. So I need some more wire. I haven't got any. But I really want to test this fan. I don't know how I'm going to do that without any wire. I'll have to try and find some. I don't know if there's any in the garage. But yeah, that's never going to work. So that wasn't going to work at all. So I basically removed the wiring for the fan because I think all of it's rubbish. I don't know what grade cable it is, but it's obviously not designed to be used outdoors because it's all rotten through. So what I've got here is I've got my little charging pack. I've connected my crocodile clips up, and then we're going to test the fan. So I've insulated those using a piece of tape. Don't you worry about it. Everything's safe. And if I plug this in here, because this is a 12-volt fan, 12-volt battery charger, and I press boost, see what happens. Right, cool. So the fan works. There's no problem with the fan. So all I need to do is wire that up with some new wiring, and we will be good to go. So if I have that on ignition live, sorted. That'll be one problem fixed. Right, so we know that the fan actually works. We now need to find an ignition live source, which I'm going to guess that black wire down there. That's the air ride filling back up. So I'm going to test all these and see what is powered and what isn't. Now, whatever they had the file and wired up to was this wire here originally. I've taped it back up there so it's safe. So I'll test that. If that's got 12 volts, we're laughing. I don't think it will have, but we'll find out. Right, no ignition, no voltage. Let's go and put the ignition on. test it again. Onto there. It's not the best. Oh, the earth's fallen off, that's probably why. Oh yeah, spot on. Right. So yeah, we're getting over 11 volts there, nearly 12, so that's good. We're alright with that. So that there is our ignition live. So the wire they had joined it to was correct. I just need to redo all that with new wiring. That's not too bad, that'll be one problem fixed. So while we're waiting on the wiring turning up to redo that fan for Ignition Live, we're going to have a look at the inside of the car and the general cleanliness of it now. When I bought this car second hand, and it is old, it's 41 years old, and it is not bad. It's not in the worst condition of cars. I've bought cars that are a lot newer, actually, a lot worse than this, so that's a good thing. But overall, it needs a clean up, and we're going to give it a quick wipe inside for starters. So I've got some Fresh Chameleon Dash Shine. I use their products on other stuff. There's no sponsorship or anything. Don't get excited about stuff like that. But I basically just buy it because it's on offer on Instagram quite often, and I quite like the logo. So we're going to spray this over this dashboard, and we've got ourselves some pale blue coloured cloths, which will probably show up all the dirt. That was the plan. It's probably not as bad as it looks, but like if you look around here, you can see like it may need more than one scrub, shall we say? And there's little bits of cracked plastic and stuff, which I don't really understand, but I need to get and see what all that's about. And I've got a load of old fuses because I've got a fuse that's blown, which I need to replace one. I'll probably just try one of these at some point and see if they go in. But if we can clean this dashboard, I'll tell you something though. I love that steering wheel. That's so cool. The only problem is actually you sit too low that you can't actually see 60 mile an hour on the thing, because if you look at my height here, which is roughly there, yeah, you can get to 40, all right. But anyway, so let's spray this dashboard. We'll spray it onto the cloth so it doesn't go everywhere, and then we'll see how much grime comes off. Well, you know what? That's not as bad as I was expecting it to be fair, considering I've cleaned like newer cars that have been worse than that, so it's actually better than I was considering it was going to be. And the other thing is, well, probably because I've driven it for the 240 miles I drove it home, that it actually doesn't smell as bad as it did when I bought it. So that's not so bad. One thing that annoys me is these here are obviously aftermarket carry-on, and they don't have like any sort of attachment really. They've got two Allen keys, which I'm going to have to tighten up and hope that they work, but that one's slack as anything. And that one, pretty slack as well, so I'm going to nip those up and see if that fixes them. The rest of the interior, it's okay. It could probably do with a really good vacuum and clean up, I think is one thing. And it's been chucking it down overnight, and to be honest, there isn't any water inside anywhere. There's no leaks on the sunroof or anything. So that's actually a positive really. That's a really old light. I'll see if I can buy a new one of those, or maybe clean that up somehow. Everything else looks okay. It doesn't look too bad. It doesn't smell anywhere near as bad as it did, which I'm guessing is because it was just sat around for so long. But yeah, so that's that cleaned, and the next part of this video will be me wiring that fan up to work. Right, so I bridged this way here, and I earthed it to that point there, that bolt. And a bit of a click. And down there, disengage and engage. Now, I don't know if this just wasn't working, or have I forced it to work, because now, start the car up, that's working all the time, the fan, which is good. That's good. So that means now that if that overheats, either the water pump or the thermostat are not working. Water pump's about 65 quid, and the thermostat I think is about 10 or 12 quid. So I'll probably get a thermostat anyway, because who knows how old it is. Maybe it's just seized. But the front fan's working. Sorry, the engine bay fan's now working. The front fan isn't working yet, but I will get that wired up. But I'm happy enough with the back fan working because it's belt driven, so it's going to run with the engine. Maybe that's why I idle it warmed up a bit. I don't know. But so what we're going to do now is we're just going to basically call it a day on that for now. I will rewire that fan up, and that'll be in a later date. I've also got other stuff to fix as well. So it's kind of like the first look around the car and solving. Well, I don't really solve the problem. Or maybe I have. Maybe that magnetic thing just seized and it just wasn't working. Now it is. I don't know, but it's definitely spinning the fan now, so that's a positive, and it wasn't before. So that's at least one thing I've done. But yeah, good times these old cars, aren't they? On to the next fix. So in keeping with the theme of things that are Maybe broken, maybe not. We're going to replace the thermostat today. So first off, loosen the hose clip off that and we'll pull the pipe off. And then you've got this, which is a 12mm. It's a banjo bolt with a hole through it. So water obviously passes through this down into this side, because that's your water pump, I think, down there, I think. So as soon as you start to turn that one, the pipe starts to twist. So I'm going to hopefully just remove this one, and that should mean there's enough manoeuvre in there to get the top lid off, because if I can pull this pipe out a bit, plenty of space. So these banjo bolts are 12mm, and that little bracket one there is a 10, and your thermostat are also 10s. Slackened all three of these off now. Just need to remove them. And then pop that lid off and have a look at the thermostat. So now all the three bolts are out. It's probably actually fused together with the alloy. So you probably want to get a big screwdriver, and I'm just going to gently pull up on there. See if it comes off, because it was probably attached with sealer as well. Or it should be. I'm going to reattach it with sealer anyway. And then I'll have a look. See if that's okay. It's probably alright, and it's probably just the fan that's been causing my problem, but might as well refresh it while we're here for the sake of £12. There you go, with the lid off. There's your thermostat, which actually is moving quite freely, to be fair to it. So I don't think that's been a problem at all, but we'll refresh it anyway. So in there you've got like a thermostat, there's a little rubber seal in there, so we need to poke in and get this to remove. Should just be seated in, and if it's seized in, then we'll just leave it, because there's actually nothing really wrong with it, I don't think. Looks okay. There we go, it's coming out. And then we'll clean up these edges with a bit of sandpaper, pop a bit of sealer on it. It doesn't look like it's had sealer on it actually, and then we'll put the new one in and bolt it all back together. And then we've got the new one. Then we've got the new one on the right and the old one on the left. The new one's actually slightly taller. I'm hoping it's actually going to fit in okay. It should do, because it's got a domed lid, so it should be okay. But yeah, just clean up that ledge and then refit. Hopefully that's going to fit. It looks similar enough. So I was actually going to replace the hose clip as well for the pipe, just because that end's a bit rusty on there. But then when I looked at it closer, I don't know if you can see that in the light or not. There we go, is it? It's got a Merc stamp on it, so is this 41 years old? Probably not, but because it's got a Merc stamp on it, I'm going to keep it and put it back on. Yeah, I'll just sort of like locate it a little bit better to get at. But yeah, that's cool. Maybe it's 41 years old, maybe it isn't. But there we go, thermostat's now back in. There's the old one. That's one job completed on this car. Right, so we're back again. And we have some wire today, so we know that this fan works fine. We've now got a huge amount of wire. So that's your twin core wire and then wrapped up. So one thing we need to work out which way this fan blows. So we're going to have to run the wires to where we need to and figure out which way it's going to turn. Because if you obviously put it one way, it'll go one way, another way goes the other way. So up here, this is where it was wired into originally. We're just going to rewire it straight back to that. That's the ignition live. And that there is going to be an earth. So we're going to wire the earth to that. And that should do it for now. We're just basically going to get it so it works. And then we're going to tidy everything up once we get everything working properly. So I'll get some crimp connectors, proper connectors, and I'll clean all this up at a later date, obviously, because I haven't got them now. And then we can rewire all this properly. But for now, we're just going to get it so the fan actually works, the car can be used. So I'll clean up this again, get this tape off here, get 2 bits of wire joined onto it, and I'll just run it around the bay to the length I need, and then switch the ignition on. So we've now got some seriously dubious wiring. That bit's okay, but that's seriously dubious because that's just temporary to make it work. And then we go in here, we put the key in, check out the bling steering wheel. So we've now got fan. So yeah, so one of the next jobs is to get basically the original fan working, because although that additional fan works now, it's fine, but I'd rather the original fan worked maybe as well. I could possibly wire the additional fan up to a switch if I needed, just in case it does start to overheat. Hopefully it won't. So we've now got a new thermostat, we've got interior fan working, and we've got the exterior fan working. I'm going to get a little temperature switch for the actual engine fan, the original one, and hopefully that may fix it. Yeah, that's one pin switch there. That's the one that controls the magnetic coupling for the fan. So if you earth that out, the fan it does actually work, like as in the magnet, it moves. So I think that bit's okay, but maybe this switch isn't working properly. You know, like the temperature isn't telling it to switch on. So that's possibly the next one to get. They're not too expensive, and it doesn't really look that hard to change. So I think that's the next thing to do for that. Otherwise, this car should realistically be ready for a drive, which will be tomorrow, not today. But there you go. Merc.